with Cam out, I'm just curious, what do you see in terms of your running back rotation? Obviously, you have Tyrone, but do you expect to do anything in terms of Dante Miller and Devin Singletary, mixing them in?
Yeah, well, Motor's on the roster. You'll definitely see Motor, and then Tracy. Then we'll decide. We got a week here. We'll decide what we want to do.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brian Dunleavy.
Hey, Brian.
Morning, Ryan.
Hey, we know that Cam underwent surgery last night. What can you tell us about that surgery? Has it? What have you heard as far as, was it promising? Did it go well? And did it require an open dislocation to be addressed?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the particulars of Ryan, but all went well. He's recovering, and obviously he'll be missed, but he'll on the road to recovery.
When have the doctors told you that he'll be back around the team or in the building or whatever, out of the hospital, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
He might be out today, coming back, but again, he's got a road ahead of him.
Okay.
Evan Barnes.
Hey, Ryan.
How you doing?
I'm just curious, just kind of with now, obviously, Cam and Malik out and understanding that football is obviously physical, and we know this. Is there any just, more thought as far as kind of being more, I don't know if mindful is the word, but just do you manage Jackson any differently when it comes to how he runs and, picking design runs and whatnot and being more judicious, if you will, with that?
No, I think, Jackson has done a really good job his first 5 games in a lot of areas. And, he's a good football player for us, and we'll do the things we think that he can do well. And I think he's done, had a good start to his first 5 games. Obviously, like a few more wins, but, he's done a nice job for us.
And I guess piggybacking off of that, now that you've seen the tape, I guess what did Jackson, really do well on Sunday? Or how would you assess what he did now that you've looked at the tape a little bit more?
Yeah, look, we're always talking about ball security. He does a good job of ball security. He makes good loose plays, throws on time. Again, there's always little things that we can get better at. There was from this game, but he's improved every week that he's played.
And then I know you said yesterday that there were multiple things that stood out to you with the run defense that you said needed to be addressed. You said maybe thing here, thing there, but
yeah.
Now that you look back at the tape, what were some of those things that stood out to you? Maybe not just yesterday, but also these last 2 weeks where the run defense just hasn't been what you wanted it to be.
Yeah, similar to what I said yesterday. There's times where they have good calls and they have numbers. There's times where they do a good job of blocking, and we got to do a better job of shedding. And there's times where we miss tackles. That's usually, 3 of the main things in run defense. So give them credit. They had some good plays against some of the defenses that we had, whether we blitzed away from it, whatever it may be. We missed some tackles, and they took advantage of it.
Does it concern you that 8 weeks in that this defense, the run defense, has given up, I think, 5.7 yards a carry? Does it concern you that the problem isn't getting solved quickly enough for you?
Yeah, we need to do a better job on our run defense, no question about it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dan Duggan.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Dan.
With Cam going down, it's obviously 2 of your big weapons you've lost in the last couple of weeks. Trade deadline's a week away. How in favor of it would be for you to be aggressive to add someone the next week?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll leave that to Joe relative to, looking at the league. If he has any discussions that he wants to have, he always brings them up. We have open dialogue. But my focus is the guys that we have on our football team right now and trying to improve them the best way that we can.
And we haven't spoken to you, I guess we spoke to you post-game. We haven't spoken to you since the fine came out for the sideline incident in the first Eagles game. Did you think that penalty was justified?
Yeah, that's, I've had conversations with the league, and that's the way they'll stay.
Do you learn anything from that?
Yeah, I don't have any comment on that, Dan.
Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Brian.
Paul?
Copy. One thing about, maybe possibly adding another player or not, I mean, this would be your jurisdiction if a new guy would come in. How quickly could, let's say, a wide receiver, do you think, acclimate to a brand new system? It would be you, it would be Mike Groh, it would be Mike Kafka. There's not a million trades. It's not like baseball where you just get a lefty reliever. How tenable is it to do that, 8 games into a season?
I think that happens all the time in this league relative to injuries or possible trades. I remember back when I was a receiver coach, and you get a new receiver on a Wednesday and they're playing on Sunday. So guys that have played in this league might be different systems, usually know how to study and pick up things. So again, when you're a position coach and you're dealing with guys, you got to make sure they're ready in a few days. So I've done that. I'm sure most coaches have done that plenty of times.
And as far as your wide receiver room, you didn't have Slayton last week. You had him this week. You have Wandale, and you really are not getting any production from anyone else. For the most part, especially the last couple of games. So how difficult is that? I know you're incorporating the tight ends more, but you want to get wide receivers involved. How difficult is that? Is that a glaring hole right there?
Yeah, well, like I said, Paul, when you 5 eligible receivers on the field. So a lot of times we've been using 2 tight ends and 2 receivers. So those receivers have been Wandale and Slay, or Wandale and who if Slay wasn't out. We'll just see how it goes, this week relative to who's up and what we think we need to do.
Would you one last thing? Would you you said you and Joe have these conversations daily, maybe multiple daily. Would you be the instigator of some of this? And and as far as instead of him coming to you and saying, what do you think? You saying, look, is there anyone out there? Because we could use it.
Yeah, I'd say we have, again, a number of conversations every day. I mean, a number of them. My focus is on the guys that we have on our roster and making sure that we're doing everything we can do to help them.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jordan Renan.
Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Morning, Jordan.
Morning. I was just wondering, we know Jackson and Cam are actually close. I was wondering how he's handling it. I mean, it seemed like last night that everything from the loss to losing Cam, that was weighing on him there.
Yeah, I think, again, that would be a good question for him. Certainly they're close. I think, again, you're close with a lot of guys on the football team. Coaches are close with the players. Players are close with the players. And when you have injuries, which there's a lot of them, I think that's, I was chatting back and forth with Scott last night, for a guy that has come in and, say, sparked us with a lot of energy and toughness, but the personality that he has as well. But it's, it's like all your other players that you're close with. These guys spend a lot of time together, meeting time outside the building. And that's always a tough element to this game is when guys go down and get hurt. You hate to see it. Unfortunately, it's part of the business.
When you say you were talking to him, you were FaceTiming with him, texting, chatting, calling?
No, we were texting. Then he texted me pretty early today. He's an infectious personality. What was it? 4:08 this morning. I got a text from him. That's Scat.
How would you say his spirits are from your conversations?
Yeah, they're good. I mean, as good as can be through text, but you feel for your players when they go down like that.
And obviously, we asked you last night, the tush-push fumble, that's one that's being talked about a lot today. I'm wondering if you have heard from the league on it or if you have reached out to the league about it.
No, haven't heard from the league about it.
Have you reached out to the league about it?
Yeah. Any of those penalties are officiating, I'm not going to comment on.
Okay.
Last one, Brian Dunleavy.
Brian, I got 2 for you specific to Tracy. You hate, as a coach, I think, when a guy loses his job partially because of injury. How has he responded to what was Cam's rise to being the main running back, and now that it's Tyrone's turn again, like, you know, how quickly do you expect him to be able to get back to what he was doing last year?
Well, he's a pro, right? So, again, I think he performed well for us at Denver.
We've seen pros sulk before, and it doesn't seem like necessarily he did.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but you answered it for me.
If you could say it, then I could.
Yeah, you already did. Yeah.
And then I'm curious what you think of Dexter Lawrence's play, Brian, because one of your own legends, Carl Banks, was pretty critical of Dexter this morning and his play so far, and suggested maybe he's not all the way back from his injury, or, you know, a million other things. I know you've said that he gets double teamed a lot, but he's always gotten double teamed a lot. So why do you think you're not seeing the production from Dex this year that we've seen in the past?
Yeah, they have a lot of confidence in Dex on the field as a leader for us, and glad we have him.